Hello and welcome to the another battle report from AAA Wargaming. We had a short break from the Art of War due to do a list review for Bloodbath 3. It was a hugely successful event, and thank you to Chris for running it. It was really enjoyable, and I'll be bringing those battle reports out shortly. I'm just going to firstly finish off the last two reports of Art of War. So here we go. So this was game four. It's battle report number 37. I was playing against Luke Tranter and Beast Herds. He had this interesting concept army of like mythical Greek beasts and stuff like that. So with the Cyclops and Minotaurs and stuff like that. So it was a cool list. Lots of golden models and stuff like that. So it doesn't look like a traditional Beast Herds list, but still a nice fluffy idea. So without further ado, this was game four on the Sunday morning. Up to this point, I lost against Sam Freestone, got 5. I then won against Big Jim, Demon Legion, and got a 14, I want to say. Yeah. And then I lost 16-4 to Rory Stoves, where his wretched ones and the rest of his army just ate me. And yeah. But now we are into game 4. So Sunday morning, had a good night's sleep, and feeling raring to go. So this battle line, it's normal battle line deployment, but the game 4. So this was a bit like, this was quite cool. So after spell selection, starting with the player that chose their deployment zone, the players must take turns marking 3 different terrain features in total. So whoever chooses the first one gets to choose the third one and stuff like that. Players take turns marking 3 different terrain features in total. Yeah, so they can't be impassable and not entirely within their own deployment zone. So during step 7 of the deployment phase, after moving vanguards, both players secretly choose. So after moving vanguards, we secretly choose which of the terrain features inhibit and write it down on a piece of paper. So you've marked 3 units. So you mark 3 terrain pieces that are not inside your deployment zone and not impassable, starting with the player who chose their deployment zone. So the person who chooses their deployment zone chooses 2 of the 3. Then, after vanguards, you both secretly write down one of those 3. And basically that's where Scab Fat is hidden. You wrote that down as those. And then at the start of turn 2, the choice of terrain are revealed. So this is your choices. So if both players choose the same terrain piece, so of the 3, if you both choose, out of A, B, and C, if you both choose B in this scenario, that's where Scab Fat is. So Scab Fat gets placed at B. And in short, the marker is treated very much like a Spoils of War, but there's only one. If the players choose different terrain features, place a marker representing Scab Fat in the terrain feature neither player chose. So there's a bit of sort of like double bluff here. Yeah. And then the rest of it is, yeah, and it's whoever has Scab Fat at the end wins the objective. Otherwise, it's all by there. So, and I think that's important, like looking at the terrain for this, because this could be quite interesting. Because it can't be inside your deployment zone, not entirely within your deployment zone, it matters. So, we'll go on to lists, and I'll come back to the objective. But so, Minotaur Warlord, big scary killy bloke in Eldritch Inscription. So, quite frankly, I don't want to fight that with any of my stuff. He's then got a Beast Lord. We're on a Razor Touch Tadger with Heavy Armor Death Cheetah and Lance Cleansing Light. So again, I don't want to fight that with my avatar really. Not because of his magic. He's then got a Master Druidism, which is going to be really quite troublesome. Or I thought it would be troublesome because he's got a lot of monsters. You can see he's got 2 Cyclops and 3 Beast Giants. Hey. So it's not great. And then he's got a Beast Chieftain with Greater Totem Bearer, pretty standard in there. And that was obviously going, I think it was going inside the Mongol herd. You then got 2 ambushing Wildhorn herds with paired weapons and throwing weapons. That was going to be annoying coming up for my rear. So for my usual standard with ambushes is not really think about it and just ignore them and just don't let it change your battle plans too much. He's then got a unit or a medium-sized unit of Mongol herd, so not really that dangerous. And I guess the Chieftain and the Soothsayer, and then some Mongol Raiders, which I thought the Soothsayer would be going in. He's then got 8 Feral Hounds, a unit of 5 Centaur Lancers that I really don't want charging, a unit of 5 Gargoyles, and then, yeah, the 2 Cyclops and 3 times Beast Giant. So got a bit of shooting, magic to keep the monsters alive, and then a couple of killy characters. So lots of single monsters moving around. So that could be quite. I mean, you've got between the two Cyclops, you've got 5 monsters, a minor warlord, and a beast lord on a chariot. All like it's 7 pieces that could do some serious damage between thunderstorm, stomp, and impact hits. So not great for some of my army, and there's a lot of stuff in there that I really don't want to fight. Anyway, so my list as so. Magic. So I went for as there. I didn't really change from the time before, and logic was I just thought with all the monsters, Stone Skin would be really quite useful in this battle, and then Master of Earth because I'm just going to need to start plinking some wounds off those giants, and then yeah, I'm going to need some heals, and then the usual bounce spells and my hereditary. In his, he chose the hereditary, which I believe is the magic move and fear, which I wasn't really too bothered about, but I think he would quite like that. He's then got Master of Earth, Healing Waters, and Stone Skin. Now, Master of Earth, I was really quite annoyed. This was going to. He didn't choose any healing spells, which I was surprised about, but the Stone Skin was going to be troublesome for me, but not that troublesome. And Healing Waters, I was pretty happy with that. Yes, his fortitude is going to give me a bit of stuff, but when not taking healing, I was pretty happy that I can keep plinking away at his giants and hopefully get them off at the end of the game. Master of Earth is going to be problematic. I need my scoring units, or my fast scoring units, my Heath Riders, which I thought I'd need for this game, are quite susceptible to that, and so like a lot of my units, I want to stay near woods and stuff like that, so that's going to be quite annoying. And then he's got the usual tokens on there, which are just like the +3 agility and D3 +1 advance is really bad. Hard target 1, distract. It's the token. I was more worried about the tokens than his actual spells, if I'm really honest. So the plan, my main one was to trick Luke to gain an advantage on the objective. So I was already thinking, I was looking at the terrain, I'll show you, and I was like, I'm going to double bluff him. I've got to double bluff him. He knows, I know what he's going to choose, and therefore I'm going to double bluff him. The next one is shoot the giants and get points. They're easy points to take off. Let's start plinking them off early. I'm going to ignore the Cyclops. Don't care. I'm just going to hope they always miss. If they're going mental, it means my monsters are nowhere near the game, and I really need them to influence it, or I'm, or they just take them off. Either way, they're out of the game, and otherwise, all his stuff is just mashing my units and running around. So yeah, and then don't fight the minor warlord. That was just it. I just wanted to put the dryads into them and just hope they hold and keep healing them, and that was really my plan here. So on to deployment. So this is what I mean. So let's go over the board. So we've got an impossible here, so can't be chosen. We've got a wall. We've got a wood. That's my wood, which I placed. We've got a hill, some ruins, and another wall on this side, and I didn't really come into it. Right. So he chose deployment, and he chose this side. I can't remember why he chose this, but he chose, the first one was the ruins, because it was his side. I chose the woods, because this was part of my bluff. This was me going, okay, come on, let's choose the woods. They're in my deployment. Let's get it in there. And I thought and then he chose this hill as well. I was like, okay, cool, right. And then we deployed like this. So this was all part of the bluff. So I was pretty happy actually with where those three were. They're quite central. I can continue bluff. So I thought, I get the feeling he thought I would think he would go for the ruins because it's in his deployment zone, and also I thought he would think that I'm going for the woods. But actually, I looked at it and went, what I really want him to do is make him think. The ruins are too obvious. What I made him want to make him think was that I was going to choose the hill, and therefore I wanted to make him think that so that if he chose the ruins, it would be the hill, it'd be the forest. But if he wanted the hill, he would choose the hill as well, and therefore, oh, what was it? No, he would choose. No, that was it. I wanted him to think that I was going to choose the forest, and therefore he would choose the hill, and therefore I thought you'd choose the ruins. Something along those lines. I can't remember, but I can't. It was some complicated genius in my head, but effectively I was like, right, put the Dryads there, and then put everything else over this side. All my scoring. So yes, they can get back here, but what I really need to do is just not. That was it. That was it. I just I just thought he would go for the hill. I would choose. That was it. I was like, he's going to choose the hill. He'll think I'll choose the forest, and therefore he'll pick the ruins, and therefore he'll get the ruins. So what I thought about was like, okay, either I go for the ruins. Oh, it was a risky play, and I was like, screw it. And I was very happy where I did it because where the deployment was, it matters on deployment. So I was looking at those. I was like, I've got to pick one of those two. I've got to decide. But how do I make him pick the hill so that then I pick the ruins, or vice versa, and then it's my forest that actually gets picked? And that was kind of my logic. So what I thought was, firstly, okay, fine, let's pick the Dryads there, really big, and let's put my other two units, scoring units, on the right, and it makes it look like I'm going to swing round and go for this. And that was my logic. That was all it was. So I dropped for first because I really wanted to push up and push him back into a corner. So what I had on my far right is Forest Heath Riders for scoring, Dryad Dart facing up, my unit of Wild Huntsmen there with the dragon, and the idea was this dragon could just zone around here or plink up here and just hide behind the hill straight up if I needed Dryads to punch up there and just basically look like I was trying to bluff there. What I really wanted to do, yeah, and also I thought, yeah, it's just a good train. I can go up behind it and hide, and he has to go over, and now I need to charge. Blade Dancers in the forest there just to keep a bit of cover, and I can bounce from there and just block this whole area here. Two Heath Hunters on the left because they were just going to start coming around here and just use the open space. So that was my plan. And then the Avatar was probably my worst one. What I wanted to do is I had the Avatar here because what I thought about was maybe he'll put something over here and I need something to deal with it and block it and just come in because I thought the Minotaur Warlords in the center, I just don't want to do that. I want to let the Avatar run around and think. What actually happened, and as you can see it there, is this. He really was scared of my Pathfinders. So he's deployed like this. So he's got the Mongol Raiders in here without the Druid. He's got the War Dogs back here, and they vanguarded up. And you can see my Heath Hunters have as well. He's got the three Giants there, both Cyclops there, the Chariot, the Gargoyles with the Druid Master in, the Centaurs behind there, and then there. He was going to move over here, but and my Pathfinders are here because they're going to just come forward and shoot at them. And I was pretty happy with that. He's given me most of the board. I'm like, cool. So I was pretty happy. And I looked at this, and this what made me think. And he goes, right. If he chooses the ruins, I can very easily just punch my blade. I can move my blade dancers up to this wood here and start threatening anything that comes through here, and my Dryads can face up. So actually, the ruins is not awful because his scoring is stuck over here. And my dragon can come across, and then my Avatar can come in. So I was like, actually, he's going to want to put the hill. Okay, so he wants the hill. How do I do this? So he's going to pick that, and I just thought, sod it, he'll pick the hill. So I pick the ruins, which means that if I'm right, that's where the objective will be. So I go, and yeah, so that's my plan. So I move up like this, and I've moved up quite aggressively, you can see, but you can already start to see my scoring is going back towards the woods. I'm making a massive guess that he's not going to go for that. The only thing I made a mistake on, I think, was the Blade Dancers here, because I've stumbled them across. But what I really wanted to do with the Blade Dancers was I probably should have been more aggressive with them into the wood, but actually I think the Avatar was threatening there. Yeah, actually. And my thought was here, they're probably at risk because I know I've got another turn to move them away from the board edge for his ambushes. But also what I wanted to do was use the Blade Dancers here. If I was right, and that's where the objective was be, I needed something mobile back here. And I've got the Dragon, the Wild Huntsman, and the Blade Dancers all around here that can either threaten that into that gap there or threaten behind here and just keep his ambushes away from them. So that was my logic. Otherwise, I've moved both Pathfinders into short range from here. I'm going to use +2 to hit. The Avatar's legging it across because he needs to. The only thing I did wrong here, they should have been looking in just in case. So in Magic, I got off, I think he stopped Master of Earth, and then I got like the Forest Embrace on the dragon, just to give it a bit of cover. There are 3 of them left. I shoot into them. I didn't kill all of them. Probably should have, but again, that was silly of me. Beast has turn 1. He charges both of them. I flee with both. I don't flee very far with one of them, and he catches it, and he's removed one of my Heath Hunters with a unit of tiny mongrels. And I was like, really could have done with them. So I was like, yeah, I needed that chaff to deal with all his monsters and his minor warlord, and now I've just done that. So I didn't need to do that. All I had to do, I got greedy. All I had to do was just keep concentrated of effort and just make sure I killed those mongrels, because between those two, I'd have at least done one. They'd have been facing the right direction, stand and shoot, and then just killed them in combat. So even if they did charge me, I could have stood and hold. So that was silly of me. That didn't need to happen. So that was it. So well played, Nuke. Take the risk. Otherwise, what he's done is you can see he's moved his minor warlord in with the unit and BSB, and he's moved them. They are just over the hill, so they can see over it. Otherwise, he's kept his monsters pretty there. He's quite worried about the wild huntsman, so me zoning there has worked quite well. So pretty happy with that. Otherwise, he's moved his Cyclops around so they can stop trying to shoot at my dragon. Doesn't do anything. And in Magic, he does do Forest Embrace, but I stopped Master of Earth, and I was like, yeah, you do whatever else you want. My turn 2. So I know there's a load of stuff coming on, so what I do here is I line up to make sure I can shoot the Mongol Raiders with both my Avatar and my Pathfinders, whilst also bringing my other Pathfinders around to start shooting his gargoyles. I've noticed that because he's moved all of them there, this is quite open, so I've got both of them in range of there, and I'm hoping he can kill them, or at least make them run, and then these two can both shoot at this unit here and see if I could start clinking off his Druidism, because the Druidism is superior. I've brought my Wild Huntsman more central just to make it more difficult to shoot at, and also like just to keep this zoning point here, while the dragon is just more facing this way so that he's got a bit of a threat. The Wild Huntsman is there, the Blade Dancers come back there, and the scoring are now legging it here. And the reason is, and this is the really important bit, right, sorry. The one totem he did go off with his thing was the +3 agility and G3 +1 advance on the charge. There's Scab Fat. Bang on. I outwitted Luke. So first part of the plan has worked really well. So now my scoring units, these two are now legging it there. He was hoping I would charge with the Dryads, but actually what all I've done is shuffled across so that he can't wheel and charge me, and now he's chaffing himself and they can't really go anywhere. So I'm pretty happy about that. So I was seeing that as a win. Otherwise, in Magic, I don't get Master of Earth off again, I think, but I do get something off on the Huntsman. I get a bit of a spell off. I shoot at them with the Avatar, I only kill one, but I do cause a panic check, and they run over to there. Now, with them there, the mongrels there, I decide not to shoot at them again, and I shoot everything, the 2 Pathfinders, at the gargoyles here. So I've killed the gargoyles, and I put 1 wound on the druid there. So he'll probably easily heal that, but it does mean that unless the druid moves, unless they protect the druid for the rest of the game, I'm going to hunt them down with the Pathfinders, and that's pretty useful. So, and he's not going to be able to stand and shoot next turn, so I can kill those mongrels next turn. So I think that was a good move. Beast Herd's turn 2, he charges. And because he was just over, I'd completely forgotten, and they were close. And he fails the charge, which is perfect. I was so happy he failed the charge on this one, because that was really, really dangerous. That would have gone into my Dryads in the back. I don't think there was an overrun into the Heath Riders, but it would have been one of my scoring units that had gone early doors. So that would have been quite good. So that was quite a good thing. Otherwise, he's brought both ambushes on there, so that could be Heath Rider's gone anyway, because that's a lot of shooting attacks, and he's brought the other ones there next to my Wild Huntsman. because of the ambushes both coming on, he's gone quite aggressively here. So you can see, I think this is what he should have done last. He's done it right here. So he's brought all 3 giants here. I think that was with my poison bow with the dragon. He's brought both Cyclops round to have a go at the dragon. He's brought the Beast Lord as well round. So the Wild Huntsmen, if they fail their penalty check or go in, they're going to get shot by a lot of stuff here. They're going to lose some wounds to this, so they're not going to be going in full strength. And if my dragon wants to come in and support, there's a lot of counter charge here. And these ones here, so I think they chose Drunk, or whichever one gives them +1 strength or AP, so it's not great. So I was pretty surrounded, but it wasn't the end. So what happened? So in Magic, he got Stone Skin off on the dragon, on Giant here as well. So that's not great for my Wild Huntsman because I'm only going to be winning on 5s, well, 4s. But he only shoots one of them off here. So I managed to stop Master of Earth just to protect my scoring units. That was the plan. And he had to, he only killed one with all those shooting. So 4-up save on them worked really well. He did kill 2 here, but again, 4-up, 6-up worked really well. So I was pretty happy with that. Yeah, I promptly failed my frenzy check. I didn't really want to charge at this point. I wanted to see if I could. What my thought was, and I didn't. It was a bit of a conundrum here, and I took a bit of time on this one, so that was bad on me. Not. This was my conundrum because I was like, do I charge the dragon? And it's something I need to work on. And the answer was no, I don't, because if he flees, then I get charged by so many giants. So the answer was I was never going to charge them. But I did fail my frenzy check on the Wild Huntsman, so I charged in there, and you can see that there. So the Wild Huntsmen are all in, and you can see otherwise I've moved around to block the scoring of what I want to do is make sure that I can get anti ejections. So I've moved the Heath Riders onto here, and their last unit is there. That's really bad actually, because now if he kills one, which is perfectly possible, that unit can't pick up. So what I should have done was put the front on there and just left it there. Otherwise, I shuffled the Dryads across to make sure the dogs can charge and move the Avador in there. I've got 1 Pathfinder's going close, so these are going to start picking up some of the wounds on the Giant. Well, that's what these 2 are just going to make sure that these 4 are dead because they rallied last turn. The Dryads have moved forward closer here just in case I need to follow up with that. And the Blade Dancers are just blocking them from being charged while the Dragon has come around to cast spells, but also just zone this area here. In Magic, I can't remember what I got off on the Wild Huntsman. I got something off, and it worked. Oh no, I got Stone Skin off on the Dryads, so that was really good. So that was them reading on 5+ because I suspect that the Minor Warlord and the 2 Giants were coming in shortly. Shooting, I managed to put 2 wounds on the Giant on top of the hill, which I was pretty happy. And also, as you can see on the left, finally get rid of those Mongol Raiders, though I really should have got rid of them first turn. And I should have had another unit of Heath Hunters to muck about with. That will prove annoying at the end. This, I put 3-4 wounds on the Giant. I charge. No, I put 3 wounds on the Giant. He kills 3 of me. I put 3 wounds on him. But I've charged and I have a banner. And he runs, and I run him down. Woo! In this combat here, I've put another wound onto the Giant, but otherwise he's killed a few of them, and they stick on his turn, which is great because he's sorry, this is his turn, so he's charged all his Giants in, and you can see I've taken there's only a couple of wounds there. Otherwise, you can see he's starting to advance around here. He's trying to move his ambushes on closer, but not too close so they get thrown up by the Giant Dragon. He's moving his scoring unit round the. I was a bit surprised at this. So he was using, instead of using these monsters to draw me in, he was using one of his scoring units. So I was pretty happy about. Other than that, he's got his 2 ambushes here. These are going to try and shoot a load of them, but I've got Forest and Brace off on them, so it's going to be -2 to hit at the very least. And these are coming around as well, so my plan was to charge them. I completely forgot about the flee because he positioned them quite well, so they would just flee back there, so I had to catch them. And it was going to be a race about dice racing, but I needed to get them away from my scoring units. So that was that. Otherwise, he's just trying to protect. He's just trying to get around. Oh, sorry, he has charged his Beast Lord into my Wild Huntsman at the top there, so irrelevant of whatever I've got from them, and I've got nothing. Those two Wild Huntsmen are dying to impact hits, pretty much. Then he does this. He casts Master of Earth, and I was like, oh, crap. He kills the unit. So my first scoring unit tried to pick up Scapat, lost. It's really quite galling. I now understand how annoying Master of Earth is after this game. So that's them gone. In Beastman's turn 3, that's me picking up the Dryad. So the Wild Huntsman go, but that's me picking up the Dryad's unit. I did lose the combat. I also failed a Leadership 9 check. My Blade Dancer BSB was the wrong side if you check. Yeah, so this was silly. I didn't think about this move. Well, that's my BSB. That is 12 inches. I had a look at it and I went, bugger. So what that means is I have failed a Leadership 9 reroll because my avatar is literally there, ready for a counter charge. So I'd have hit the dogs and, oh no, the dogs have moved. I swear that maybe the dogs have moved. Maybe not. Either way, they on average they should have held, but they didn't, and they get run down. So that's them dead. That I wasn't expecting. I was like, ugh, crap. I thought I'd fix them for a turn. So not only do I have those 3 dead, but I've got them in my field. Now, this was their shooting. They did like 1 wound maybe or nothing, and then in my turn I charged them, and they fled as expected. But I caught them, and now I reformed and I turned around there. So now he's got another scoring unit there with the Blade Dancer instead. The downside is they are now completely out of position. So it's good, but they are so far away from the giants and all the other stuff. And actually, it comes back to bite me. And I was like, it's good because I've killed a unit, but it's downside and I'm in his flank and it's blocking him off. But actually, it's not great. And that's, you can see the giants and his minor warlord in the center there. Luckily on my turn, my pathfinders go to town and everything else, and between magic and that, I managed to get rid of one of the giants, so I was pretty happy with that. And then my avatar eats through the dogs as well, and they run away down towards here. So this is the end of my turn, so you can see the dogs running off there, and that's really useful because they were covering a bit of blocking for them. Well, actually, no, because they're doing so. My Dryads are now moved on to the objective as well, as you can see there. So again, I'm like, I haven't learned, and this was when we had our mistakes. So he killed my Heathra and Hunters last time, and now the back of my Dryads are there, and I was like, ah. So if he kills 2, I can't pick up that as we worked out now in his next turn, in his turn 4. So it's a bit annoying. But anyway, otherwise he's not looking too bad. So he's got this guy here, my Pathfinder. So I do have a choice about going around, but actually I just need to kill this. And you can see I've started plinking off some of these because I really need to kill his scoring to make sure they don't. He's only got 3 scoring units left, but they're really not going to get there because I've got the Avatar in the way. They're a bit dangerous there. So this unit could be the one that gets through. They've got the mobility. But my big problem at the moment is how do I deal with a minor warlord? The giant, he's only got 4 wings left. He's not a big brother. I've got a Pathfinder's unit there. I could bring them around, especially with me. I've got an Avatar and I've got a dragon. So I'm not really bothered about the giant. But the Avatar, the minor warlord, I was like, I don't really know how to deal with this. And I was thinking I might have to send my Avatar in at this point. Beast Herd's turn 4. What he does is he's looking down this way at my Dryads, so they can't run away. The Dryads can't move 2.5 inches back, or they can't move out of his arc, so that's them gone. They've got the giant looking this way because he knows I'm going to try and chaff them, and then he can terror check and stuff like that. And this is why it's good not having a 3rd giant, because then he'd be doing that. So they're out of mark on my avatar. But again, I'm not bothered about this. I had a think about it, and very shortly, and I was like, actually, it's not that problem. They move a bit. The Dryads move backwards 2.5 inches. The dragon moves around to make sure he can breath weapon and or shoot with a poison bow, the giant. The heath hunters there can block the minor warlord, and if necessary, my avatar can come around and do some damage as well. And I've also got both pathfinders, so I can just move the pathfinders back, move the forest, and just shoot that giant, which is what I was going to do. In his turn, he also turns the shooters around. So his plan is he's trying to draw me in there. He's trying to turn them around to move them away, but I was like, I'm just going to move them that way. He's going to turn these around. He's going to shoot at them, but then he's going to get charged here, and then I have some really difficult options here. But otherwise, he was lining them up, so in the hope that my avatar would charge that way in there. But I wasn't going to do that unless I had this. So and this is where we had the Master of Earth on the left. Luckily, he only killed one Dryad, so I can still pick up a Scab for that. And basically moves 2.5 inches backwards. And then his Cyclops failed to hit and has actually caused a misfire and couldn't shoot next turn. He kills 3 of my Blade Dancers shooting. Again, not bad, but he's not going to get a standard shoot, which is good. So I'm going to get in there and kill that unit. In my turn 5, you can see me ranked up there. You can see I've moved my Dryads out of the way, and you can already see the giant is gone. So that was quite a lot of shooting into that. So the giant just pegged it. And I just thought, yeah, that's easy. And now I've got a giant dragon there. I can chaff really quite easily. That minor warlord is not going to stop me getting the objective, which is important. Yes, I could lose an 800-point model, but 800 points is better than 2,500 for the scoring, or at least draw the objective, because I wasn't too sure how this was. As you can see in combat, I didn't choose to charge them. I was like, okay, now you charge me, and my logic was I don't want to charge them and then get counter-charged by the Cyclops, the giant, and his lord, or just the lord because of a cleansing light, and all the other buffs in the world. I just thought that's something I could lose. I did. I hit them. I didn't kill them all, so they got to run away, and I chose to chase them down, and I ended up here, which was annoying. I rolled really, really high. I didn't need to. He rolled like a 3 to run away, and I thought, okay, come on, let's get a low one. Let's stay in the front arc. Nope, rank charge. So Cyclops went in. So it doesn't matter that he can't shoot because he is pumping me at the moment. Otherwise, I think I got Stone Skin, just a throwaway spell on this one, because if they charge in, then yeah, fine. You're winning me on 5s, which otherwise I think they would have been winning me on 3s. Cool. And then yeah, that's pretty much happened. His dogs fail to rally and move off. And then he kills, his Minotaur Warlord kills my Heath Hunters. And he'd have turned to face the Dryads, and then the Dryads would have moved further back, and I'd have chaffed with my dragon. And then I'd have shot him with all the world and see what happens. And just thrown all the spells in the world at this Minotaur Warlord, all the defensive buffs. In combat with the Cyclops, he puts 1 wound on the Blade Dancer BSB. And then I put a load of wounds back to him, and I stick. Yeah, we did do that. So I stuck, and then I think I'd have turned around and killed the Cyclops. I put several wounds on him in this combat, so I'd have killed him in my turn. I'd have killed the Cyclops in my turn 6. I might have lost the dragon. Probably would have lost the dragon. And then I'd probably in my turn 6 just left it like that and shot a few more stuff off, and that'd be it. I know he got me down to 1 wound, but he was definitely on like 0 wounds. That's not the BSB dying, by the way. The BSB stays alive. And that was the end of the game. We didn't get through to a turn 6, but I don't think much would change. Maybe the dragon would have died, and I think the Cyclops would have died. Maybe. And then he'd have charged his general and giant into the Blade Dancer. Sorry, his other Cyclops, something into there, but again, I would have killed. So I'd have probably gone. So what would have happened is I'd have gone for the. So my plan turn 6 was I'd have killed the Cyclops. I'd have killed the cavalry just to give him a dilemma and basically go, look, I've got some more points. Your choice: kill the Blade Dancers for cert, or go off the Avatar. And that's a bit hit or miss. The dragon's also a bit hit and miss with the Warlord. He just needs to fluff a bit, and I'd have thrown a lot of anti-magic at that one just to get fortitude up or something like that to make sure I've got a bit of a save. and then we'll go from there. So yeah, I was pretty. So otherwise, I was pretty happy with that. I thought tactically I played the game quite well. I was really happy. From turn two, I was like, yes, I've outsmarted Luke on this. So that was pretty good. Otherwise, it was a close game in terms of points. There was only 290 in the difference for 11-9. But because I'd won the secondary, well done, Droids, it was a 14-6 to me. So I was pretty happy with that. I was surprised how defensive Luke was at the very beginning, but also very shocked when that turned two and he just sort of appeared and came out. It was a bit like, bugger. So yeah, I think that was quite something. So, but otherwise, sorry, those two Cyclops aren't included in that 1670 points. That was wrong. So they aren't there. So I've only just killed all three giants, the Gargoyles, the Feral Hounds, Mongol Raiders, and both ambushing units. There was no, and yeah, I think the only one of my unit that was a bit silly was the Heath Hunters first time, but then I probably would have had to use them for chaff later anyway. So 6-1 off a dozen the other. So cool. Lessons. So playing for the objective is still king. I think this is going to be a bit of a theme. I'm starting to grow into the theory that I need to actually take another scoring unit. I'm thinking another unit of Heath Hunters. Just to get that fourth unit, unit of Heath Riders, even if it means sacrificing one of the unit of 5 Heath Hunters just to get that fourth unit. And as I'm finding, they're actually really good for the scoring objectives, even in more traditional scoring. Playing offensively, even if weaker in combat, has benefits. Benefits. Yep, sorry, that's wrong. Yeah, no, I think his army was better in combat, and it showed that when it came out, I just couldn't deal with all the moving parts and some of the single models and moving around. So I had to, but by being quite aggressively early on, it hemmed him in even for that first turn. But as soon as he started playing offensively, it changed the game quite out. So I think, especially when we look at Magic, the Blade Dancers really could benefit from a strength buff, and I think that changes the dynamic with them because they've got a lot of attacks. They hit really well. They just need to wound and get a bit more AP. Not necessarily AP against beaters, but just in general. And lastly, consider the angles. It's happened again where I didn't think about the Mongol Raiders and the flanks and stuff like that. And I think I really need to get better at that. It's even a bloodbath it happened. So that would be it. Otherwise, pretty happy with that. I've already done the PowerPoint for the next battle report, so I'll be bringing that out this week. So I hope you enjoyed. But otherwise, it was looking pretty good for me. I was up to 39 points now with a game in hand. So I thought maybe I could at least get into the 40 zone and maybe get that 11 points and 50. So we'll see who my next opponent was. Otherwise, I hope you have a good time. Thank you very much for listening.